we're doing cardio core today with the loop band. That's the only piece of equipment you need, and maybe a mat. And I thought I'd give you a break. We're doing it downstairs so that you don't have to hear my neighbors mowing and hear the birds and the rustling of the wind, all that kind of stuff. So it'll be a relatively quiet workout. You'll be able to hear your music today. I'm going to run through these exercises. There's 16. We're going to do the timing is 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off. I'm going to quickly show you all 16 because it's a pretty quick break in between. And that way you'll know what to expect. So you should start your warm-up right now with those boxer shuffles. The first one, I'm going to show you, if you have the workout printed out, the workout will say where to put the band. So each one beside it, it'll say, like with this, it says squat jack, but this is a squat jumping jack is really what it is. And the bands go around your knees. All right, so this one is that one that we kind of squat down, open up. As you open up, you're pulling those bands out. Try not to let those knees come in. Okay, so it's down, up, down, up. That's the squat jumping jack, okay? The next one, we're gonna drop these down to my ankles. We're gonna do a cardio core, a cardio core. So the next one's gonna be core. I'm gonna go down into a plank, and it's going to be down onto an elbow plank. I'm going to step out and control that motion, step out the other side. Control that motion. You have two options here. You can try to go a little bit slower and really work those legs and try to get a decent pull on that band, or you can go a little bit closer, but go speedy, okay? Two options on that one. Next one, we're gonna keep this around your ankles, and we're doing those fast feet. But instead of fast feet, you're stepping, fast feet kind of just go up and down. On this one, you're stepping out, out, in, out, out, in. Halfway or so, or try to change it up every once in a while and step the other direction, okay? Next exercise is gonna be the modified V-up with the pulse. So here are your choices. When you do this modified V-up, you wanna keep that back straight, you're leaning back. If you wanna keep the feet on the ground, you're still pulling those feet out and putting some tension, and you're just pulsing those arms. If you feel like you're ready to do the more advanced version, is straight back, I'm leaning back, I'm pulling those legs up, separating that band a little bit, and I'm pulsing. You're gonna feel that immediately in those hips. Next one, this comes up around my knees, and it's going to be a side knee up, okay? Not a back knee up, a side. So you should feel it on the outside of the hip. We're just gonna do, up above those knees, we're just gonna do one side for half the time, and we'll switch to the other side. Butterfly glute raise. This one is going to stay around my knees. I usually loop it so it's half, one's below my knee, one's above my knee. I'm gonna put those feet together, and I'm gonna raise those hips up. As I raise the hips up, the first half, we're gonna pulse with the knees out, and the second half, we're gonna try to keep those knees out, and we're just gonna pulse going up and down, okay? So we're gonna switch that, half and half, but I will remind you, squat knee to elbow. So the next one, this comes around my feet. So right at the bottom of my feet. This is gonna be our core. It's gonna use a lot of hip flexor. So it is going to be, I squat down, and then I'm gonna raise that knee to the elbow. Once you get going, you should be able to kind of get the rhythm, and you'll actually be able to touch it because the momentum will start going. So you're just squat knee to elbow, all right? Probably if you're shorter, you might not have as far up to bring it either. Superman with loop band pullback. You're gonna hold this, actually put this in your wrist. We're gonna get down on the ground. I'm gonna get into that Superman, and I'm just pulling back. Pulling those elbows back towards your back, keeping those feet up off the ground, and I'm trying to keep some tension in that band, and just pulling straight back. Sumo side punch. This is that sumo squat. My feet are far apart, my knees are facing outward. I get down in that sumo squat, and I'm punching side to side, and then we'll switch to the other side. We're gonna take this off, and we're gonna keep it around our wrists for the next two. plank walk with this on your wrist. This one's a little bit of a challenge. You're gonna get down into that plank. I like my feet a little bit far apart. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to pull this band as far and get as taut of a stretch as I can on it. I move my foot a little bit and I'm going forward again. I'm keeping it at that diagonal. Forward again. The minute I pull these apart, my core gets a little bit tighter. It is definitely a little bit of a stretch, so you will see how you feel about that one. If it's really, really hard, you can either pull it and just hold on to it, or just drop it and do a plank. What I believe is the butt kicks with the arms. We're keeping this on the wrists. We're raising your arms up. We're doing the same thing as we do sometimes when we hold a weight or we do the arms up and down, but you have just a little bit of tension in this band as you're going up and down. So you're just going up and down. You'll feel it in your shoulders pretty quickly. You'll see the difference that the band makes. You have a choice on this one. You can put it down around your ankles. That's definitely using those abductors on the sides of your hips even more. So you'll be feeling your abductors definitely by the end of this. You can pull it up above your knees, whichever one. You're gonna reach out and come all the way back up. Remember, when you reach out, you're reaching out and it's actually like you're decompressing, just like you do with a box squat. Those muscles kind of go relaxed for a second, and then you're pulling them back up. Okay? I'm a regular squat, ski squat, come back and hop. I land really soft, so I go low. Regular squat, ski squat, hop, down. And then we'll do the other side after that. The main thing on that is just remember, soft landing. Bicycles. So for this one, if you have any lower back issues, don't worry about the twisting. Twisting with this under pressure is not the best if you have back issues. If you have back issues, we're just going to pull it up. You're going to tap that foot, switch, tap that foot. No twisting, okay? Tap that foot. You're just moving it back and forth. This one, you want to kind of keep your feet taut as you're switching them so that it doesn't fly off. If you don't have back issues and you'd like the extra challenge, you can do a bicycle where I twist and then I'm twisting that elbow to the outside of the knee and that other elbow touching the ground. Okay, next one is plank jack. You can put this around your ankles. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for the hip abductors, or bring it up to your knees and you'll feel a little bit less in your hips. All right, so we're going to get down in that plank. I'm going to have those wrists under my shoulders and I'm hopping out and in, out, in, out, in. Main thing is you don't want to sink your hips. If anything, we'd rather your butt be in the air a little bit to protect that low back. All right, and last one. We're going to do that pistol toe touch with the side to middle. I'm going to have my feet straight up. My legs are at that 90, trying to go as straight as I can. I pull these toes back towards me and I pull the band taut. My fingers make a pistol and I'm going up to the center, to the side, center, side, and then after halfway, we'll go to the other side. All right? So, grab your loop band and we will start. I will run through this the entire way through, all 16 exercises, and then you can go back through and do this another time or 3 times through total, okay? So this is a really good one just for a cardio core. Calorie burning, I think you'll like it. It is strengthening your abductors. If you have a weak side, you'll be able to find it pretty quickly by doing this one. Like, I know my right side is weaker, so the day after I could definitely feel it in my right side. I didn't feel it in my left side because it's stronger. If you get through 1 or 2 rounds and it feels like it's really bothering your hips, or you're feeling a lot of tension in that area, or your hip flexor, feel free to drop the band at any time and just do the exercises without the band. You don't have to do the exercises with the band. The band just adds a little more resistance and should get your heart rate up a little bit more. Alrighty, we're going to start with that loop band right above the knees, and we're going to do those squat jumping jacks. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Squat jumping jacks. Exercise 1. I'll keep a moderate pace, and you can probably go either faster or slower than I am, whatever you feel like, depending upon which which set you're on too, probably. First round, maybe really fast. Remember, you're kind of squatting down like a ski squat. Nice job. Break. We are going to go to those elbow plank with that step out. I'm going to do it this way. Elbow plank, step out. You can have the bands around your ankle. Remember, fast or slow, whichever you prefer. Start. So, I'm going to step out with one side, control that, step out the other side, control. You control the tempo and how far out you're stepping.
That's halfway.
Really try to keep that core tight. Try not to move around too much.
3, 2, 1.
Break. Fast feet, in and out. Keep that band around your ankles. So remember, we're just, instead of fast feet, out, out, in, in. Out, out, in, in. At halfway, I'll tell you, and if you want to switch, I always feel like my first step outside kind of gets it a little bit more. But that's my weaker side. Switch if you want. You'll see one side's more coordinated than the other. After this, we're going to go to that ground. We're going to do this V up.
2, 1. Rest.
V up with the pulse. So, if you're going to keep your feet down, you may want to move this up to your knees. But V up pulse is this one.
3.
All right? You can keep your feet down or your legs up. And I'm pulsing. Get your breathing in order here. If you need to, drop your feet down. We're trying to keep that back straight as well. Keep that tension in the band just a little bit. Doesn't take much. By using the band, you're using a lot more muscles.
2, 1.
Break.
Rest.
We're going to that knee up. So, just because it's going to roll up anyway, I like to keep it above my knees. And it's that step out to the side
2.
and touch.
Exercise 1.
I love knee ups. It's another low impact that does its job. We're going to switch sides then. I'll tell you when.
That's halfway.
Switch. Nice job. Should be feeling this in your hips. Don't usually feel the hips in your hips.
1. Rest.
Butterfly glute raise. I'm gonna lay down again. I like to loop it over my knee. My feet are going in towards each other. And I'm really pushing with those feet.
1.
Raise those hips. We're pulsing the knees first. Pulsing the knees, holding up. That's gonna get a little bit of a burnout on the inside of that glute.
That's
Halfway. Now we're pulsing up and down. Trying to keep those knees open and just pulse your hips slightly up and down. Good job.
3, 2, 1.
Always make sure that you keep your shoulders in the ground. And we are going to wrap these around our feet, and we're going to do that squat where we pull the knee to the elbow. We're going to try to get a pretty decent pace on this, right? We're thinking about pace. So squat, knee to elbow. We also want to make sure that knee is coming up to the elbow, trying to. I feel like, I definitely feel this way more than if I didn't have the band. Gets my heart rate up for sure more. I feel like if you're a little shorter, you may not have as far to go. It might not be as bad. Knee to elbow.
3, 2, 1. Rest.
All right, we are doing that Superman with the pull back. So this goes around my wrists. I'm gonna lay down. If I can, I'm gonna keep those feet off the ground.
1.
Raise up, pull that band apart some, and pull back. try to think about tucking those shoulder blades back in their pocket. That will use your back more than your shoulders.
That's halfway.
It's nice and controlled. If you need to drop those feet, drop those feet. Nice job. Squeezing in the back.
3, 2, 1.
Break.
Rest.
Sumo squat, side punch. These go right below your knee. Try not to let it dig into your kneecap though. I'm getting a nice wide stance.
2.
I'm gonna pull those knees out,
Exercise 1.
get down, punching side to side. Think corner to corner. Good pace on this.
That's halfway.
Switch. If you need to come up, come up. The lower you stay, the harder it is.
3, 2, 1.
Nice.
Rest.
All right. Plank walk on wrists. So this goes back to the wrists again. We're going to pull that band ton and walk with this.
3, 2, 1.
Get down in that plank.
Exercise 1.
Pull the band as much as you can. Take a step. Pull it as much as you can. Take a step. We're going to go forward some and back some.
That's halfway.
You're really thinking about control. It's not fast. I'd rather you get more tension in the band and go a little slower.
3, 2, 1.
Break.
Rest.
We are going to that butt kicks with the arms. You're going to feel this pretty quickly because you were just on your shoulders. So if it's too much for your shoulders, drop it. You'll be surprised how much the band adds. Arms like this. Start with that butt kick and then add the arms. Be like, huh, that's a surprise. Just that little bit of tension. You're really going to feel it in your shoulders.
That's halfway.
A good burn. You are well over halfway through this. Nice job. Almost there.
2, 1.
Break. Star crunch. So this is going to be above your knees or down by your ankles.
3,
I'll do it like midway. I'll do a mid.
exercise 1.
All the way out, all the way back up. All the way out, all the way back up. Remember when you lay down, you're all the way down. Nice chance to get your breathing in order.
That's halfway.
Good core exercise here. Functional fitness. When we're on the ground, you got to get back up. When we're doing in and out, our body stays taut.
1.
It's a little less challenging than going the entire way down. Regular squat, ski squat. We're going to keep that right below the knee. Make sure it's not digging into your knee though. Remember, we're going to be pretty low on this.
3,
If possible. If you need to come up, go ahead and come up.
exercise
So,
1.
get down there. Regular squat, ski squat, hop. Regular ski, hop. Regular ski. Try to make sure your knees are staying strong.
That's halfway.
Halfway. This time we're stepping to the other side. And when you start next time, if you want, next round, start on this side.
1.
Break. Bicycles. We're going to go back to the ground. Put those around your feet. Remember, no twisting if you have lower back issues.
3,
2, 1.
exercise
Pulling
1.
up and squeeze. Make sure you keep some tension as those feet pass. Nice. You kind of have to do this one with a pause.
That's halfway.
If you go too fast, the band will fly off. Nice job. Almost there.
3, 2,
1. Break. We're doing those plank jacks. So around your feet, around your knees. I'll do midway again.
3, 2, 1.
On your hands
Exercise 1.
and plank jack. This is your last cardio here, so you want to try to keep a decent pace. Make it worthwhile. Now, in subsequent times through, if you're really feeling it in your hips, always pulling it up closer to your knees or above your knees
3, 2, 1.
will make it a little bit easier. My shoes untied. We're doing that pistol squat or pistol toe touch. So feet are up like this,
3,
making that pistol pull taut and start up to the side. Keep some tension in the band. Just doing that, you'll feel it. This one is a killer.
It's halfway.
Switch sides. Try to get up close to those toes. Keep that band pulled.
3, 2, 1. Rest.
Great job. So you are going to get a drink and rewind this and do this at least one more time, if not 2 times. I guess if you're really in the mood, you could do 3 times. But
1.
really quickly,
Exercise 1.
as you do this, remember, if you're really feeling things in your hips, down by your ankles, anytime you're stepping out is going to add more tension. So pull it up. You can even pull it up above your knees, like plank jacks and star crunches, all those things up above your knees, you'll feel a lot less. And if anything is starting to feel like it's too much, whether it's shoulders or if holding it out, you feel it too much in your hips, you can always drop the band for any one of the exercises, or like you could drop the band the entire 3rd set. All the exercises are effective without the band, but the band does make it more challenging. Okay? Great job. I can't wait to hear how you like it. I will see you back here for stretch. Yay, you finished the band, the loop band cardio core. I hope you liked it. I gotta say, I did it last week and I loved it. I thought it's such an easy way to do a cardio core with very little equipment. All right, we're gonna start that stretch. If you have your band, go all the way around, you know, to move your hands in or out so that you feel some stretch and some tension there. We're gonna get in that back spot and pause a second. Now we're gonna go straight up overhead and pull to the side. Today, this is an important one. We used your core a lot. You wanna pull this down hand so you get a nice stretch there. And switch sides, go to the other side. Reach straight out and look down. And we're gonna drop all the way down. And actually, this is a good one to keep a hold of if you guys want to bookmark it or whatever, or that one that you did with the mat, that one is too. These are good ones to do on off days or on Saturdays. Let's go to that tabletop. We're gonna separate those shoulder blades and push those, the top of the back to the ceiling, rotate that back down. And you can always do this one without the loop band if you want it. This is one you could do with or without the loop band. Open those knees up. We're gonna sink all the way back down and just reach out. The loop band definitely makes it more challenging though. Anytime you use more muscles, it gets your heart rate up higher. Slide that right arm underneath and we're gonna push that palm up. And switch sides. We'll walk that hand over the 45 and bring the other hand over. Keep those elbows, tension in the elbows so you get more of a stretch down that side. And switch sides. Let's sit up, sit with the legs to the side, and grab a hold of those legs and reach across. And then we're gonna take that elbow and pull it to the back. Feel it more, a little bit more down into that hip flexor in the front. Switch sides. Let's reach across. So really grab that shin and pull yourself over. and open that up to the back. While we're here, let's just swing those legs around. I'm going to put that elbow in that knee so it keeps me centered. So I'm not going like this. I don't really feel it like that. So I'm going to put that elbow in the knee. It's going to keep me centered. I'm going to lean forward. Try to keep that back straight. Let's just stay here for a second. And then we'll sit up, grab a hold of that shin, and reach across. And you can pull yourself down some so you get a little more of a stretch on that side. We'll switch sides. Go to the other side. Elbow goes in my knee, and I'm going to reach forward. Try to keep that back pretty straight. Feel that stretch on that inside of that thigh. Sit up, grab a hold, and come across. Let's pull those feet together. Remember, I'm trying to think about a nice straight back, as straight a back as I can get, and I'm going to lean forward. Get those hips stretched out. Remember to keep that back straight. If my back's not straight, I don't get as good of a stretch. I'll move over to the mat. Put that right leg out. The left leg's going to go on top, and I'm going to push down on that. Stretch out that hip a little bit. It's a good way to be able to tell. Put that foot up, flex that top foot, straighten up your back all the way straight, and lean forward. Move that butt forward towards your foot. Try to keep your back straight while you're doing so. It is a good way to see if that hip is super tight is when you sit on a bench or something, cross your leg with that leg just going across, just like this, like we are. So switch legs. If this leg is up like this hip is really tight. You need to work on trying to get it down so that it's parallel to the ground. So we're going to open that hip up. And put that foot down, put that heel on the ground. We're going to flex this top foot, get my back straight, and move that booty into your other foot. All while keeping that back as straight as you can. Remember, hunching it relieves all that tension and it really isn't stretching it. Okay. I'm going to let you guys have an extra long stretch today, but I'm going to do this now, and if you want to jump out after that, you can. I'll just do a couple of extra stretches afterwards for anybody who wants to stay. So pull that right leg back towards you. We're going to turn that toe to the center and drop to the center. For anybody that kind of wants to hit some extra stretching, take it to the outside. I always think cardio core days are good days to do extra stretching. Your muscles are warmed up. Mobility is so important. Put that ankle on your knee and pull it back towards you. Now, if you want to grab it underneath that leg, you can use this elbow right here to open up that hip. This is another stretch like I talked about for when you are sitting cross-legged, like if you have your legs crossed and you're sitting on a bench. You can tell if that hip's up really high or that knee's up really high. Put that foot to the ground, let the knee fall to the side. If that knee's really elevated, you need to work on stretching that hip out. Walk that hand up a little bit, stretch out the front of the shoulder. Shoulder mobility is important. And we'll switch sides, come to the other side. Okay, left leg or right leg out, left leg comes back and comes up. We're going to pull that left leg back towards you. Turn that toe to the center and drop to the center. And take it to the outside. Put that ankle on your knee, and we're going to grab a hold of underneath, and I'm going to use that elbow to open up that hip. And I'm going to pull back towards me. Foot to the ground, let the knee fall to the side, and reach out. I'm going to walk that left arm up just a little bit and feel a stretch in the front of that shoulder. And take it to the other side. Let the weight of this foot pull that leg down. We'll sit up. And we'll just pull that back. Y. And W. All right, if you want to jump out now, you can. I'm going to do a couple of extra stretches, and if you want to grab your roller quick, I'll show you some rolling exercises. Okay, we're just going to get down into that warrior pose. So we'll get down into a nice warrior pose and just stretch those legs out a little bit more. Stay right here, reaching out. I'm going to lean forward. As I lean forward, I'm going to rest that arm on my leg, but I'm not putting pressure on it. I'm just letting it rest there, and I'm just pulling across. Keeping that arm nice and straight and just pulling that side. We use this side a lot. I'm going to come back up. I'm going to turn both feet in this direction, and I'm just going to lean down, bringing both hands to the inside. Kind of like a runner's, but I'm going to have both hands to the inside. I'm going to open that inside hand up. Come back down. And I'm going to straighten that front leg out. I'm going to come up as much as I need to, but I'm going to straighten that front leg out. So now I'm kind of like in a triangle. I'm going to walk my hands to the center and just drop down and relax. Decompress that back. Look between your legs and just let that relax. I'm going to slowly come up to like a tabletop, stand all the way up, and then I'm going to open up to this other side. For me, it's the right side. And we're going to stretch that leg out. I'm going to rest that arm. I'm going to keep that arm straight and just stretch that side out. I'm not putting tension on this side though. I'm going to twist those feet so that they're both facing in this direction. Bring those hands down on the inside, stretch that inner thigh out a little bit. Take that inside hand, open it up. Bring that hand back down, and now I'm going to straighten that front leg up so that I'm in that triangle. Feel that stretch on the front of that leg. Down the back of that hamstring. Walk to the center. I'm going to drop down, and I'm going to look between those legs again. Come up to that tabletop, and then come all the way up. Now, if you can grab a hold of a wall, we're just going to stretch out that thigh. So, grab a hold of that wall, pull that leg up, and just stretch that out. Some of you might be able to pull it up and you're not feeling it much. If that's the case, tighten up that foot. Flex that foot, and then you should feel it. And tighten up that glute. You should feel it a lot more. If your glute is relaxed and your foot's relaxed, you may not feel it. So tighten the glute, tighten that foot up, flex it, and you'll feel it. Switch sides if you need to hold on to something. I'm going to grab that side, tighten that foot up, and tighten that glute up. And I should definitely feel this. All right, real quickly, we're going to do just a quick stretch out with that roller. What I'd like you to do is we're going to stretch out those calves. We're going to do a little bit with the legs. So I'm just going to rest that calf from my ankle to the back of my knee. I'm going to stretch out that calf. All right. If I don't feel this, if it's not enough, some of you guys, that may not be enough. You can put the other leg on top, and it should give you a little bit more tension. So we're going to do 3 rolls. If you find a spot where you find knots, I want you to find that spot and then just roll back and forth. This one's definitely getting knots where the bumps are. Now we're going to do the opposite. We're up a little bit further, same leg. I'm going to go from my knee to my button, all the way up. This one feels so good to me. Nice. I'm going to tell you to do the same thing here. You're going to find a spot where it's a little tense, and you're just going to roll back and forth. You can go like this, but you're just gonna kind of roll over that spot. What it does is, when you compress that area, the blood leaves that area. We're gonna go to the other side now. We're gonna do ankle to knee. We're gonna do that calf. Then as it leaves that area, the blood rushes back into that area. So that's how rolling kind of helps. It also breaks up some of that dense tissue from the fascia and all of that. So now we're gonna rock on your calf, find a spot that you can feel it, or you could have been doing it like this. Sorry guys, if you felt it. We're gonna pull that back up. I'm gonna go from my knee to my hip. Knee all the way up. Same thing, if you don't feel it, you could always crisscross your legs. It'll give you more compression. And find a spot and roll it back and forth. Now, we're gonna go to your side. You guys know this one. This is probably the one that you most often do. We're gonna try to go from your hip. If you have one of these, the rungas, you know your hip bone is gonna go down into the dipped area. So it kind of protects that. And you're just gonna roll all the way up. If you can keep your feet up, keep your feet up. If not, put your foot in front of you. And you're just rolling up and back. So I will say, stretching works, guys. Because I am not a roller, but rolling doesn't hurt me because I stretch all the time. So if you don't love rolling, make sure you're not missing your stretches. It really does help. All right, same thing. Except for what I would say is, if you find a spot that really hurts, bring that foot up in front and really, when you're working it out, take some of the pressure off, okay? Now, we're gonna switch to the other side. So, this is the one that generally hurts people the most. So if you need to keep that foot up, that's totally fine. We're gonna put that other hip on there, and we're gonna go back and forth. If you can flex your feet, I should have said that on the other side, sorry. If you can flex your feet, that helps. Just rolling back and forth. Good. If you find a spot that you really feel it, remember, put that foot in front and just rock that spot a little bit. All right, we're gonna turn over and you're gonna put the roller right inside your, like right below your hip flexor, and we're gonna roll that quad, okay? So I'm gonna start right at my hip flexor. I'm gonna bring this other knee up, and I am just rolling out my quad. Feels so good to roll out your quad. Something we don't always do. Now turn your leg just so that your foot is like facing outward. We're gonna get that inner quad a little bit. And now we're gonna turn it towards the other way so that my toes are facing towards the inside, and now we'll get that outer quad just a little bit. And kind of roll up and down on that and get that outer quad. Now, go back to the center, find a spot that you feel it in, where you feel a little bit of a knot, and you're gonna bring that foot up and flex it. Up and down. You should definitely feel this. If you wanna move it a little bit, and then flex, move it somewhere else, and flex, you can do that. That flexing definitely makes a difference. All right, we're gonna do the other side. So we're starting on the other side. We're gonna roll that a little bit. We'll hit the inner thigh and the outer thigh. So roll up. I got that knee up. I'm just rolling up and down, all the way to my knee. Now we're gonna turn that foot slightly to the outside to make sure you're getting your inner thigh. Good. Make sure you get that all the way. And we'll turn that toe to the inside a little bit. You'll probably have to rock up a little bit and rock on that. Now, be mindful of thinking about where you feel some knots, and we're gonna roll back over and find those spots. Flex that foot, bring that leg up towards you. Maybe move it down a little, flex that foot, bring it up towards you. Do that about 3 or 4 times. Some of these are probably going to be super painful. If it is super painful, you know that's an issue, because that's a spot that your muscle tissue is really bound up. You're not getting good blood flow. When you don't get good blood flow, that's how you get injuries. So there's your sign. All right, I want to sit so that my hip bone is in front of the roller. I'm going to have my right hip on it, and we're just going to roll out those glutes. Just up and down. My hip bone always stays to the front of it, and you can just roll back and forth. Sometimes you're going to have pain like, I worked that muscle pain. Switch sides, do that left side. Remember, my hip bone is, my sit bone, sorry, not my hip bone, my sit bone is to the front of this, and I'm just rolling back and forth. But sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes it's actually you have some knots in there and they need to be worked out. So if it's super, super painful, that's your sign that this should be something that you guys incorporate regularly. And we do have that video on that HL2 site. All right, real quickly, let's get the top of your back. So you're just going to lean on your roller. I will say, if you have the chiropractor one that we have here, or this one is a really good one for it. You're going to get just below the shoulder blades. Lift those hips up and roll up to the mid-shoulder blades. I'm going to do that, just to the mid-shoulder blades. It's a very small area. Below the shoulder blades to mid-shoulder blades. This is where people have a lot of back pain. When you're here, you're just going to go back and forth. So I'm swinging my hips sides to side, trying to break up some of that tissue. Now we're going to go from those mid-shoulder blades, lift those hips all the way to that top area. You don't want to go up so far that you're bothering your actual neck, but we want to try to get the top of those traps, because that is really, I know for myself, what has caused a lot of problems with my neck, because it just gets so tight that they really, when your muscles get tight, and the same thing, just get a spot and kind of twist back and forth. When those muscles and that fascia gets really, really tight, and you get those knots, like I was talking about, that doesn't get good blood flow, it also shrinks up and it causes tension. Where those muscles reach into the vertebrae, it starts to pull on them. The more it pulls on them, the more you get back pain. So some ways you can help that is rolling and stretching. Also making sure that when you do the exercises, you're always looking at the ground. If you're doing bent over exercises, you're not looking up at yourself in the mirror, all right? Okay, hopefully you enjoyed the rolling. I don't know, I love rolling, so hopefully you did too. Alrighty, we'll see you next time.